Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Thanks for coming along on the little trips we take on some of these vehicles we get to work on here at Lucore Automotive Services in Plain City, Ohio. Today, I'm working on a Class 2 medium duty Chevrolet, or technically an International Chevy badge. This one's a Duramax diesel, 2-wheel drive, dump bed, 4500 HD. This is the big rear axle with a pinion brake for the parking brake, which is pretty impressive. The odd thing on this one is it came in for a steering concern. It's hard to drive. I drove it down the road and I'm like, you're right, it is hard to drive. It's very digital. It wants to change what it's doing, and then you put an input in, and it's got real digital inputs and response. Truck's super clean. It's a 2020 with 27,000 miles on it. So you wouldn't think there'd be too much wrong with it, but some really bad tire wear here, which is kind of concerning. Ironically, the toe's almost dead on. It's basically dead on, so I'm not too worried about that. But the back end is showing me that it's been hit in the right rear from the front, or hit in the left rear from the back, because the whole rear axle's off quite a bit. But that's not what's causing our digital steering, I don't think. I was looking it over, and the more I looked, I kept questioning this plow mount, because this thing is a beast of a plow mount. And I looked at it over here and I'm like, well, that doesn't look right. I don't even know how you would have gotten this thing installed with how tight that mount is on the leaf spring. And I came over here and I looked over here, we got the same thing going on there. And I'm like, well, that's awkward. So how do we have leaf springs rubbing against the plow mount? And then I look at the plow mount. Well, it's a pretty beefy plow mount. And if you look at these holes, they're not really lined up right. And you look at these holes, and they're a little better, but they're still not lined up right. And what I came to realize is that some Magilla gorilla figured out how to get that on there with these plates mounted on the inside. So you can see it's got this recess here, which in my mind should mate up against this recess here, because when the forces of your plow push against that, it transmits the force from the bracket into the bracket instead of just through the bolts. So I'm going to guess these bolts, if this thing's actually been used for plowing, which it looks like it has, these bolts are probably compromised. We'll need to remove these brackets, mount them outboard, and then we'll see if maybe holding the pressure on the leaf springs up here possibly is causing steering inputs that make our steering, gives us our digital steering. It probably does all sorts of weird things because of the pressure being induced onto those leaf springs. So that's a unique technician installed problem. Let's call that a tip. We see those a lot. We do a lot of fixing tips in this business. And it is what it is. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But 26,000 miles, that plow has probably been installed on this truck incorrectly, and nobody's caught it. Like, I don't even know how you would have gotten those brackets on there, short of using the impact to draw the bolts down after the fact. You can't see it because I have my my Flintstones wheel on there, but this, oh, you can see it. So this wheel is white, and that wheel is gray. We have a new tire on an old tire, which is bad. That's a 24 tire. I don't know where the number's at. Must be on the other side. But that one's the same as the other, so it's going to also be a 24. That's a used tire. And a new tire. The new tire is a bigger diameter than this tire, so this tire is going to get hot because it's traveling at a different rate of speed than this one. Whenever you put new tires on a dual, if you put new tires on a dual and you're only doing 2 of them, you want your brand new tires to be side by side and you want your used tires to be side by side. Otherwise you're going to cause bigger problems than what you might realize. And that's a thing I didn't know about. When you're driving a dual rear wheel car or vehicle, and when you slow down and speed up and make turns and you hear a tire squealing, it's because one of your tires is flat, and that flat tire is being scraped by the tire that has air in it. There is one more issue. That white wheel over there makes me think that this thing got hit, as does the rear toe and thrust line, because our thrust angle on this truck's almost a ½ degree. So we're 37 positive, 34 negative, which means the whole axle has kicked sideways. And that got me to thinking, let's check the rear axle. When I got back here and looked at the rear axle, you can actually see that this perch is offset outside. And this perch, I mean, it's offset outside, but it's not protruding out past the leaf. If you look there and there, it looks pretty square. But if you look here and here, the U-bolts look like they're leaning. So I'm going to guess that the truck got impacted in the tire there, and it broke the U-bolt that holds this leaf pack together and allowed the axle to shift back. So that's the other thing we're going to need to take a look at. Since I'm doing one pin, I'm going to do them both because I don't know what forces were imposed on the other side. So we'll see if the customer wants us to uninstall and reinstall his plow mount, remove all 4 rear U-bolts, replace the leaf spring pins, and then install new U-bolts on the back to square up the back. So that's what we'll see. That's the diagnosis that I see, and it all looks logical. And that's what we do. We give recommendations to customers, and then they make the choice on whether they want to fix their vehicles. It's part of the job. Well, we spoke with our customer and he said, "Fix my truck, Rich," because that's why I brought it to you. So yes, sir, we can do that. So Jeff was good enough to switch my brackets around on the lower plow mount. And look at that, they fit correctly now. So I was correct in my assumption that it was assembled wrong. So we resolved that problem. The truck still drives horribly. We did end up getting new U-bolts and new center pins installed into the back axle, so now our back axle tracks correctly. The customer did tell us that he ran this thing into something and had to replace the wheel on the passenger side, which explains why it had a new wheel over here. We did ultimately pull the tires off and put the 2 used tires and the 2 new tires together. You don't want to have a new tire with an old tire with different tread depths. It causes problems. But you can see in here we got brand new U-bolts, brand new center pins. Actually, those look like bigger U-bolts than what was in it before. But, you know, it's fixed. But I drove it and it still drives horribly. It's really like darty. You have to constantly put inputs in. It's horrible. So I'm guessing they ran it into something and probably messed up the steering gear. So we're in the process of changing out the steering gear because we want it to steer correctly. We had to put a hood strut on it. Those are apparently a pretty common failure on these trucks. The strut was actually stuck. We couldn't get the hood open, so we had to put a hood strut on it. And we got the new gear in place, and I got to get my pitman arm puller out and pop that guy off and get him hooked up on here. we should be good to go, ready for a test drive. Hopefully this one will be ready to go back into service. Actually a pretty decent little truck. This medium duty truck is a Silverado 4500 HD, which is actually made by International. Well, or at least it's stickered as International. So you can get parts for this thing from International, or you can get them from Chevrolet. But it actually says International on the sticker. It says Chevrolet on the dash, on the side. But this thing's a pretty beefy truck. I would trust it to push snow and haul dirt. I think it'll get the job done. Well, let me get this Pitman arm switched out. We can move this one down the line. All right, well, we put the power steering gear into the Chevy work truck, and that did solve our digital steering issue. Basically, we had to constantly be putting inputs in to keep that truck driving straight down the road. New steering box, reset the steering wheel. That one is adjustable. I was able to free up the drag link, which is a 3-piece drag link, and it was seized, but I was able to get it freed up. Lubed it up with some oil to help the next guy, which is hopefully me. The next time it needs to be adjusted, having some oil in those fittings is always beneficial for the long-term usefulness of the adjustments. That truck has actually already left the shop. I'm now working on another work truck, go figure, because we work on a lot of work trucks here at the shop, sorting them out, making sure they're ready to make the customer who owns the vehicle, or the business that owns the vehicle, have that vehicle out on the road doing what it needs to do, because that's what these trucks do. They serve. They allow people to make a living and fix the things that you need, like these guys do heating and air conditioning. Great, we'd love to see that. We fix heating and air conditioning in cars. They fix it in your house. They have to get to your house to be able to fix it. So that's what we do. We keep them on the road so that they can keep you cool or warm in your house at home and enjoying the good life. At any rate, I think that's where we're going to end this one. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. See you on the next one. And don't know what I'll be working on next, but I'm sure it'll be something unique, because that's what we get. We work on everything that comes through the door. Have a great day.